You ever notice how fast people judge silence? You don't post much. You don't share your photos. You keep your life off the internet. And suddenly, the world decides you're boring, insecure, hiding, or afraid. But psychology says something completely different. Because sometimes the loudest confidence is the kind that never tries to be seen. This is the deeper psychology behind people who stay quiet online and why their silence reveals more strength than anyone realizes. Some people don't seek validation, they seek meaning. Psychologists call this intrinsic motivation, the kind of confidence that comes from what you do, not what others see. People who post less aren't hiding. They've simply stopped performing. Their satisfaction comes from progress, not praise. And here's what most people forget. The constant need to prove yourself online is linked to lower self-esteem and higher social anxiety. Those who don't, they've moved past that stage. Some people are comfortable being unseen. In a world where attention is currency, not chasing it is a form of power. It takes deep self-assurance to say, I don't need to show everything. Psychologists call this self-concept clarity, a stable sense of identity that doesn't need an audience to stay intact. They aren't afraid of being unseen. They're afraid of being misunderstood. For some, posting feels like an emotional transaction. Every like, every notification gives your brain a small hit of dopamine, the same chemical linked to craving, reward, and sometimes addiction. People who stay quiet have learned to step out of that loop. They've traded short-term attention for long-term peace. Not because they don't care about connection, but because they refuse to exchange their peace for applause. Being private isn't the same as being insecure. It's actually a form of selective self-presentation, choosing what deserves to be seen and what deserves to stay yours. They don't avoid sharing out of fear. They avoid oversharing out of self-respect. Not everyone earns access to their world. They understand the spotlight effect, the illusion that people notice us far more than they actually do. People who rarely post have outgrown that belief. They know most people are too busy thinking about themselves to notice what you did or didn't share. That realization brings peace. They don't need the spotlight to feel visible. Some aren't afraid to be real, they're afraid to be reduced. Posting online invites judgment, comparison, expectations, opinions, projections. People who stay private know how heavy that noise becomes. They'd rather live deeply than perform perfectly. They're not hiding flaws, they're protecting truth. Many quiet people also have stronger emotional regulation. They don't post every feeling, every thought, every reaction, because they've learned to sit with themselves first. Psychologists link this to maturity and higher emotional intelligence. They don't need to prove they're okay. They know how to make themselves okay. Privacy and loneliness are not the same. Privacy is chosen, loneliness is not. Quiet people choose privacy because it feels safe, peaceful, grounding. They'd rather have a small circle that knows them than a large crowd that misreads them. They are observers, not performers. They watch patterns, they understand behavior, they listen before they speak. Psychologists call this observational intelligence, processing more than you express. That's why when they finally say something, it matters. And at the core of all this is secure self-esteem, not fragile ego. People who don't post much aren't lacking confidence. They just don't need social confirmation to feel whole. True confidence doesn't announce itself. It simply exists. They value real moments over digital proof. People who live in the present take fewer pictures because they're too busy living the memory instead of capturing it. They absorb the moment instead of performing it. Quiet people also understand the cost of exposure. Every photo you share is a piece of identity traded for attention. Exposure invites judgment, comparison, expectations, opinions. They'd rather be underestimated than overexposed. Protect the mystery, protect the peace. And no, they're not ugly, awkward, or insecure. They're unbothered. People with high self-acceptance don't feel the need to market their beauty. They don't seek aesthetic validation because they already feel enough. Real confidence isn't built on appearance. It's built on acceptance. There is a quiet kind of power in not needing to be noticed. When your life isn't online, you become untrackable, unpredictable, mysterious in a calm, grounded way. People wonder what you're up to. That curiosity? That's influence. Not digital influence, psychological influence. Many private people also have a strong internal locus of control. They don't use social media as a scoreboard. They don't need likes to confirm their value. They believe their outcomes come from their choices, not from external approval. That mindset makes them resilient. And then there's meta-awareness, the ability to observe yourself from outside the screen. Private people see how easily social media shapes identity. They see how performance becomes pressure, how perfection becomes expectation, how comparison becomes a habit. So they choose to shape their identity offline. Not disconnected, just conscious. So next time someone calls you insecure for not posting, remember this. Silence isn't weakness. It's control. You don't need to be visible to be valuable. You don't need to be loud to be confident. And you don't need to be seen to be someone. Because confidence isn't measured by how much of your life you show. It's measured by how calm you are within yourself. If you choose depth over display, peace over popularity, meaning over metrics, subscribe. Because here, we don't scroll through people's lives, we decode their minds.